Mr. Soul Lover Man, we are live. We are back in this thing one more time. Hope everybody's doing good, great, happy TGIF out there. Everybody. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. I love that song by Aloe Black. But anyway, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody is doing great and amazing out there, wherever you are, whatever it is that you are doing. Sullivan, man, we are in the building. So today we're gonna go ahead and get straight into it. We are talking about forbidden fruit. So off the back, the first thing I'm getting is cursed is ye that cross your path. So if anybody crosses your path, now knowing that you are a child of the Most High, knowing that your ancestors look over you, your angel guides are always with you, they are in trouble, man. They are in a serious trouble. We are not just in a time of make believe, we're in a time of disbelief. We are really in a time where up is down, left is right, and tomorrow feels like the day after. Seriously, these are the times that, honestly, it really and truly feels like, these are the times. These are the times that we are naturally living in right now. So, what does that song say? Nights like this, I wish that raindrops would pour. My word. But anyway, so we're talking about forbidden fruit. So, going along the lines of forbidden fruit, your time for the right people to come and pick from your tree is now. Like really and truly. You might have been set up in you might have been set up in a situation where it just wasn't the right time for you. You felt like it was the right time, but it naturally wasn't. It's like the fruit on your tree just wasn't quite right. You were planted in some let's just say some messed up soil, so to speak. And we're talking about forbidden fruit today, ladies and gentlemen. But maybe you were planted in some soil where it was hard for you to grow. You felt like you were being outshined by everybody else. Speaking about, if you felt like you just weren't getting enough sun, you felt like you weren't getting enough water. You were at a place where you were like, you know what, this just isn't it. So you uprooted yourself and you moved and you moved and you moved, and you moved again. But the beautiful thing is that it's now where you're this beautiful tree, and when people walk in the forest, they're gonna hear stories about this beautiful tree that has this magnificent fruit on it. And when they come there, they're gonna see you. And a lot of times when people see you, they're like, you're not what they expected, but you're what they need you're what they need at that moment. Like earlier, probably in your career, maybe your working career, you asked for something, you prayed for something. I've been down that road. I have. I prayed for something, it came to pass, and it was like, I prayed for certain jobs, and I got there, and I was miserable. Prayed for another job, I got there, I was miserable. You find somebody cool on the job, you become kind of cool on the job. They leave, it's misery once again. But today we're talking about forbidden fruit. And if you know the story, Adam and Eve, and Eve being tempted and Eve taking the fruit, and God telling him, you can have everything except for that. And you know how we are. Sometimes we are very greedy. We want, sometimes we want it all. We know we can't have it all. Sometimes you go to the buffet, you overeat, you stuff yourself. It's like your eyes are wide open. Sometimes your eyes are bigger than your stomach. Seriously. Like I've been down that road where, like, literally, uh, it's like literally my eyes have been bigger than my stomach. This is your first time watching me. Don't forget to subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, my eyes are bigger than my stomach, and you see all of this food, the cake, the chicken to this and to that, and it's like, oh my, where do I begin? I'm a breakfast person myself, a big breakfast person, but you see all of this food, and you're like, man, where do I begin? But you overeat, you stuff yourself, and you're like, shouldn't do that. But hey, we only, you know what? The important thing is, look, we only live once. But yeah, so on the realms of forbidden fruit, you might have been stuck in a place where you felt like you weren't supposed to be, but we know now in terms of these things are very much so seasonal. We really know that these things are seasonal. The sometimes the places that we go, we know that at times we are not going to be there. We know that we are not going to be there. We know that we're probably not going to be there like a long time, and you go for a few months or whatever, a year or two, you leave, and it could be years down the line you go back, and welcome for the Philippines. It's years down the line you go back to that place, and you see like the same people there. You're like, wow, y'all still here? And it's like you've gone on, done other great things in your life. You've forgotten all about that place, and you see Mr. Whoever, Mrs. Whoever, and you're like, wow, y'all are still, at this job, and blah 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 blah. But your fruit has ripened. It is time for it's time for bigger and better things. You're going to find people that are going to start coming to you now, that are just naturally going to want to open up to you. Like for me, it's always been an interesting thing. I'll just be sitting down somewhere, and some people will just come up and just start telling me their whole life story, and I'm like, why are you? You're just sitting there, like, some random person sits down and they just, it's. I'm telling you, man, this life of mine is very interesting. It's like people will just randomly come up to you to start telling their story, but you're in a time where you're in a time where your inner faith is going to triumph over the surroundings of your past and the things that you've been through. You've been uprooted. Now it feels like you're in this orchard of just acres and acres, and you're just surrounded by the richest soil, and you're just being tended to like the world's greatest farmers, so to speak. So it's like you have a lot of. What I'm saying is that you have a lot of growth coming to your life. You really and truly do. You have a lot of growth coming into your life. So, if you haven't been doing it, it's time for you to start speaking that, in your life, in your meditations, in your prayers, however, in your thought process, however it is that you naturally do that. It's time for you. You're moving forward. You become the underachiever to the overachiever. Doesn't matter what people. It doesn't matter what people thought about you. That was. Sometimes people talk about past lives, and we come back. I'll say this: in the life that I've lived, it feels like for me that I've lived several lifetimes in this one life. It really does. When I was younger, I would, like in my 20s and stuff, I would always get these feelings of like deja vu. Like I've been there, I've done that. It was the most interesting feelings, and it's not like I could tell anybody at that time, because people were like, something's wrong with you. But now, thanks to social media, we talk about these things. We talk about our faith, we talk about the paranormal, we talk about the supernatural, we talk about, angels and ancestors, and all of these other beings, and people talk about, you know, alternate it's these things are what was uncommon now is becoming more common. You hear people talking about things that they're seeing in the skies, and having all kinds of interesting supernatural, I'll say, they'll things that they've seen during the day, things that they've seen at night. But anyway, so just to say that you're going to be one of the ones that are going to usher in like this new normal. Let's see somebody with a briefcase, and I see an offer. I really and truly, I see an offer being made to someone. I see a briefcase being open. I see them saying, "Hey, you guys read over the paperwork." I see y'all sitting in an. It's almost like you're sitting in an office, and this is going to be very big, and this is going to be very. Let me just say this. This is going to be very big. This is going to be very lucrative, honestly for this is going to be very big. This is going to be I'm getting honor bound, trust, also getting, naturally trust in the process. You've been tailor made for this. Whatever it is, it feels like you're coming to the point where you're coming to the climax. It's like people look at you and they know that there's something different about you. They know that they're curious about you right now. It's like there's this curiosity that's like flowing around you when people see you. When people see you, when naturally when people see you online, so to speak, it's like there's like there's this natural curiosity about you. It's like you're about to be the next wave. You are really and truly, you're about to be the next wave that is coming to pass. Whatever ideas that you have, whatever ideals that you have, it's time for you to go ahead and put that stuff out there. For me, do I have fear of going live or talking in front of people? At this point, I don't. Because hey, at this point, you know what? Like, you want bigger and better in your life. So what else can you do except for putting yourself out there and just going for it? Not just naturally going for it, but going to it. Not just going for it, but going to it, so to speak. Because it is your time, it is your time, it is your time, it is your time in the now. It is your time to not be in denial anymore. It's time for you uh if you've been getting ideas about this or that, it's time for you to take charge of your destiny. It's time for you to go ahead and do it. It's not time for you. What's going on, Miss Wheat? Change the octave in my voice, but it's time for you to go ahead and put it out there. So you're in your grow up season now. So it's time for you to put your uh, it's time for you to put your big boy, big girl pants on and go out there and seize those moments, seize those titles, seize those opportunities that are with you. It's like every time you speak, there's something that always sticks. It's always something. It's like every time you say something, every time you walk into a room, it may not even be something that you say. It could be something that you agree with somebody. It could be like how nowadays, people like to put out those little quick headlines about whatever. It's like you're the person that can extract what is needed and say what needs to be said in that moment, to stick with the people. You are emotionally connected to people. You are so big, you are so buzzworthy, you are so amazing. It's like you have no idea about how the things that you say are rooted and grounded in greatness. And you have, the amazing thing about it is my right ear is buzzing, so somebody's agreeing with me out there. The amazing thing about it is that you are a connector. You are the connection. People, you have no idea the people that watch you. You because but and the amazing thing is that you're gonna be, you know, for some rhyme or reason, you're going to start to connect with these people. even I'm getting even today, even through this day, you're going to start to make even more amazing connections going through the weekend, Sunday, and so on and so forth. Because you're smart. You know how to use your time wisely. Even beyond, getting up, going to work, blah blah, doing that, you know. But around that, that time matters. Your time matters. People's time matters. The one thing you don't do, you don't waste
It's
your.
9 o'clock.
Well, thank you, computer. One thing you'd never do is that, that's interesting. She said, woke up to my right ear ringing. I heard God is trying to tell you something from the collective. Yeah. Yesterday, my left ear was ringing. And when I tell you, I don't know what I did, but I was just like sitting on the sofa and my ear was buzzing like crazy. And it was like, when I tell you I got an earful, it was like, stay on the course. I was like, all right, okay. I said, all right. Y'all only need to tell me once. You ain't got to scream at me now. But yeah, it's interesting it's interesting when we get those spiritual messages, really and truly. Getting, start to document those things because these are the highest of your, these are the highest of your guides, that are telling you to, yeah, these are almost like, it's almost like military type action. When you hear that horn blowing or whatever it is, or the sergeant walks in and everybody's at attention and all of that stuff, that's what it's like. They're getting you ready because everything, they know that everything correlates towards them, to you. You're that, what do people say, you're that vibrational point where, your tone just vibrates with so many people across so many different walks of life. That's how you touch people. You have a way of just, somebody told me this. It's like you have a way of connecting with people even when you don't know their language. Even, a lot of people, some people speak multiple languages, but you speak the language of the heart, you speak the language of the mind, you speak the language of the soul, you speak the language of the spirit. People can just feel that, really and truly, on your, channels, if you can, how you have the words that are, that can come with the subtitles. You need to turn that on for your channel. Yeah. Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Light languages, speaking in tongues, all of that stuff is what is for the spirit. What is for the spirit is by the spirit. Yeah, but people, I don't know how these people are going to see you, but people from different walks of life are going to start, different countries are going to start to look at your channel. I'm telling you, the numbers are going to start really going up. So, people from different walks of life, different channels, are going to start to look at. I'm getting also going to start to look at your. Going to start to look at your channel. They're saying what the speed of the falcon and what the almost like the eyes of the eagle, but it's almost like the eyes of the eagle and the vision of the hawk. Like the birds of prey, because you've been praying, you've been wanting, things to go in, and they will start to go up. And this is going to lead you getting collaborations, also working with other, YouTubers and stuff, and people are going to start to take notice. So don't think that, oh man, and I there, nobody's looking, and I'm just gonna say, no, don't, no, this is not a time to stop. This is not a time. This is the time for the childlike. This is the time for you to have those childlike tendencies and to just believe in any and everything. Like seriously, I'm not saying fall for the okie doke, but you know how kids have this powerful, overactive imaginations. Kids can see beyond the veil. They really can. With them and their imaginary friends and them seeing all of these different realms and traveling when they were sleeping and you see the little baby waking up with a big smile on it, because the baby was traveling somewhere, probably with some, I don't know. These kids are different, man. It's a like the little ones, like the I don't know, the toddlers and babies and the 1, 2, 3, 4 year olds and stuff. They're different. They're very, very, very special generation. So anyway, yeah, but bigger collaborations are going to start to come in. So what I'm saying is that don't they're saying don't stop, get it, But anyway, so keep doing what you're doing. That's that's the juxtaposition of what I am saying. Keep doing what you're doing. So we're talking about forbidden fruit and all of that to say that you're growing, your feet are planted in this amazing soil. What was a seed one night is a big, beautiful like tree with the most amazing and miraculous fruit. I see fruit that is glowing lights. You know how you have these disco balls and back in the day in the 70s they had like these disco balls, and the disco balls would like put light on them and it would just be glowing. That's how you're glowing right now. That's how you're going to be able to reach these people, relate to these people, put on, you know, being in front, being on your, whatever it is that you're doing. That this is just the beginning. You're about to get like major invitations to stuff that you probably never even heard of, and I'll put my hat out there. If you want to book me for something, speaking engagements, I'm here for it. Podcast interviews or whatever, But yeah, so you're about to be you're trans what is the word? Transincidental? Something, yeah. Yeah. Your time of like foreplay is over. You're moving to the main course, You're it's like that saying of all the whoever wants you and all the whoever want to be you, you know insert your name there. For real, 'cause that's just what it is. And it's going to be a point where people are going to start to really take notice, and they're going to be like, well, wow, such an people that you don't even know, they might just start, they may have a word about you. They might say, oh, they're doing too much. When they say you're doing too much, that means that you have a lot going on. That means that you have stuff going on that is blowing their mind. And they're like, well, how did they get booked for this show? How did they get to go on? I remember like back in the day, it was Johnny Carson. You go on Johnny Carson, boom, you're worldwide, you're famous. Now I guess it's like, I don't know, Joe Rogan or whatever, whatever. So you go on one of these big, podcasts or the news or whatever, and they're like, well, how did they get to go on I don't know, Good Morning America and all of this stuff. I've been doing this for blah, blah, blah. But it's not about them. It's about you. It's about your anointing. It's about, how you have been touching cataclysmically your voice and the moment. Not just this moment. Even when you're far gone from here, your voice is going to matter. Your voice is, that's just what it is. You are the, it's like that song, you're the voice of the voiceless. You're like this, you're the cult of personality. You're gonna in the beginning. You have this cult like following. And when I say cult, not in a bad way. You know how people say cult like following when you have like a certain number of people that know about you, maybe kind of like in the underground. But when I tell you, the lights are shining, just like I have this light shining on my face. The light. Uh, it's about to be lights, camera, action. It's really and truly about to. It's really and truly about to be lights, camera. It's really and truly about to be lights, camera, in action. They're gonna write studies about you, like how you came up, because they're gonna write studies about you because you they're gonna say, oh, what, you went to school for this, and well, like you just quit. Well, you walked away from your job, and now you're what? So let me get this straight. You wait. So you're now you're in magazines. You're all over social media. Um, you're it's like people know you, like people know you. It's like you have these brand deals. It's like I don't like how it's like it's gonna leave. What I'm saying is that it's gonna leave people speechless. It's really it's gonna it's gonna leave people speechless. Because you I'm getting fame by I'm getting what's the word, fame by numbers. I need to cut my hair a little while. But yeah, so we're fame by numbers. It's like each fruit on your tree um, has its own taste for its own audience. That's how much. That's how layered you are, and I don't. That there's something different and special that what you're doing. That's why you keep pushing. Even me, I get myself up, and it may not be every day, but I come in, try to show my face, at least weekly, for real. But I'm getting the fame by numbers. Um, it's almost like it's not a countdown, but a count up. It's like your account. Okay, there it is. Your account is going up. Your account is going up. Um, July through the end of the year next year, you're going to see your numbers steadily going up. But before you know it, you're at 100,000, you're at 250, you're at 500,000. To the point where you're in the millions, and it's going to be well. And even in a lot of people are going to be talking about you, good, bad, or indifferent. A lot. I'm telling you, a lot of people, like, oh, what they doing, people are, I'm telling you, it's people are, it's like you don't even know who these people are. It's like, oh, well, such and such had, it's like you're sitting on the, I don't know, the hottest show, and they're asking you questions like, oh man, well, such and such had something to say about you the other day, and you're like, who is such and such? It's like I don't. I mean, these people are gonna know you. Really, really and truly. You're going to be in the realm of billionaires, where your stock is going to be. Where your stock is really and truly going to be rising. Things in your life are going to be moving super, super, super fast. There are greater. There the greatest reward is the time that you're putting into yourself. Because you're going to be having so many different. You're it's like your patience and your confidence is going to be so key, but you're going to have so many viral moments, and people in the, hey, remember the time you went viral? It's like, I mean, it's gonna happen so often, so frequently. You're gonna be like, I mean, and they will, oh, the thing with the set, like, oh yeah, 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 because you're gonna have so much going on. You're gonna need your own assistant. Your assistant probably might need an assistant because of how um and I don't know why, people, when you were younger, they I don't know what people took you to play with. That's the thing. Fire, which time will be my response? It's like people, when you're younger, people took you to play with. They thought, they said, Some about Boo Boo the Fool. You're like, well, who's Boo Boo the Fool? Seriously, and now your maturity when you go around people, you are man. When you go around people, a lot of people, because you've been activated. That's the thing. You have been you are groundbreakingly, even now you got these ideas of things that you want to do and in the near present and in the near future, like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if I did this, or wouldn't it be cool, it's like everything you touch um turns to gold. Everything everybody says isn't but they say if it's too good to be true, it's probably not. But you walk you walk in the truth and the light. That's the thing. You've always had this covering, even in the most painful auspicious moments of your life. That second half, it's like that. It's almost like I see you I see you riding this wave, man. I see you on this board, and I see you jump up. It's like this. Imagine like somebody riding a big wave on a surfboard, and you know how the wave covers them. It's like you're being covered, but you're riding it so effortlessly. And it's like people are like, well, where did they? Sometimes they see you. It's like now you see me, now you don't. It's like they see you and you come out, it's almost like you come out as a different person, but you're so poised. You do this so you're so poised. You do this so effortless. It's almost, I said earlier, it feels like for me that in this life I feel like I've lived several different lifetimes, because I think sometimes whoever we're around, that's the version of us that they get. You never, unless you're in that inner circle, like really and truly. But you're going to be the one where, you're not going to mind if people come, hey, can I take just a quick picture? You're like, hey, no problem, but make it quick. I got to go. I got to go jump on this plane. I got to go meet such and such with this photo shoot in Monaco or whatever, whatever it is that whatever it is that you have going on. I'm getting you have ties to you have ties to ancient Egypt, or you have ties to ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet. Something was given to one of your ancestors that is about to unfold in your life. A lot of truth for you is coming to the surface. Really and truly, you could have been doing this probably a long, I I'll say the truth is coming to the surface. You probably could have been doing this a while back, but you know how life is. We do this, we make decisions, and anyway. But hey, here we are. Um, just saying, congratulations. We were talking about the forbidden fruit, and people try to pick from your tree. The wrong people were trying to pick from your tree. Feels like you had like a grandmother or something that was very wise, that gave you a lot of wisdom, that passed down a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Um, they when you walk, they walk with you. We walk with our ancestors. We walk with our elders. She says, "Yeah, I feel that I received my ancestral upgrade as an inheritance. Yes, very much so. Um, because these, you're shielded. You are so shielded by you have we have no idea how protected we are. I'll just leave it at that. You know, um, always remember the battle is not yours; it is the Lord's. So, so I will, yeah. But you're at a major turning point in your life. Things are, you know, you're at a point where you're going to start to receive some amazing news. Like I said, even on today, you're going to you know, you're going to start making powerful connections, amazing news. These people are going to want to work with you immediately. Like, hey man, what you got going on? You know, I got, you know, hey, won't you come and jump in this and blah 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 blah. Look, you know, just show up. We'll, you know, we'll find you a spot. I remember, um, man, I remember it was I think it was 2023. Um, there was a young lady. I we were just talking and we were talking about something, and she was like, "Oh yeah, hey, such and such is doing this." It wasn't a movie, but it was like a set, you know, like a setup like a movie. She said, "Hey, they're looking for somebody. Won't you come down?" You know, now I was an extra on the thing, but you know, just stuff like that. That's just gonna be popping up. You know, just yeah. Uh, it said you brush your teeth. Wait, I'm trying to say I can't. Wait. Yeah, I feel that I received my ancestral. Um, oh yeah, so you know the amazing thing. Um, the amazing thing is for you, you know, just putting your best foot forward. You going out there, the things that are coming, you can do these things effortless. That's just, you know, that's one of the main things. You know, that's one of the main things that I'm saying. People can't just pull the wool over your eyes. That because you know you're seasoned. You know you're a seasoned professional, even though you maybe some of those spaces you haven't even been in yet, but you're a seasoned professional. You know, you show up, you know your lines, you know the character, the arc, whatever. You go in there, you kill it. You know, and they're like, oh well, you know, who are you? Who have you worked? You know, and it's like you're going to people are going to be beyond excited, like really and truly. Are you brushing off the head a forward direction is confirmation of forward? Yeah, very much so. A lot of forward movement, a lot of forward momentum. Just know that you are being well beyond you are being well beyond taken care of. You are being well beyond taken care of. You know, Grace is your immaculate friend. I'll say that. Grace is really and truly, you know, your immaculate friend. You know, moving forward. So you know, just remember, yeah, you're ahead of the class. Speaking of that, I need to, yeah. But yeah, so you know, you're definitely ahead of the class. You're, you know, man. So it's just gonna be some amazing things that are coming in your life. So, if it's your first time watching me. Don't forget to subscribe. I will holla at y'all probably over the weekend. I say probably because you know weekend I just be chilling. But anyway, but you know if not, I'll be back on. I'll probably jump on maybe Sunday sometime. But all right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have been amazing. Y'all have an amazing happy TGIF out there, everybody. Is this yeah, I think this is the enjoy the last weekend of June 2025. But all right, y'all. What a time to be alive, huh? My goodness, man. All this stuff going on out here, no problem. But all right, y'all. As always, I'm out this peace. Peace.